So in today's video, I'm going to be showing all the engines I've collected with lots and at stores and stuff like that, and kind of how they turned out and whatever happened to them. So I'm going to start off right here. These are the two engines I got in Maine last summer, and they both turned out very, very nice. I'll show you them running right now. So this is the Locomotive I bought at Coins and Hobbies on my way down to Maine last summer. And as you guys probably remember, it was a very rough runner, but I've managed by cleaning and lubricating it to actually turn it into something pretty good. So here I'll show you. First of all, it has an amazing low speed. And as you can see, it runs pretty smooth. That's not even full power. And as you can see, it's a pretty healthy runner now. Here's the Locomotive that I bought at that antique store. It was 15 bucks. And it actually ran really, really well from the beginning, but it had no traction tires, so I couldn't really judge how healthy it actually ran when it was connected. But I got it some traction tires, and as you can see, it's pretty good. It's running at about 50% power. If I crank it up to 70%, you can see it's a pretty smooth runner. Now it's onto the lot that I got, I believe, in October. I actually managed to get, I think, 100% of these working. This trolley one, this worked right from the beginning. It was pretty good, so I haven't really done much to that. This one ran from the beginning, but I got it working a lot better. This one was a dummy. I haven't really done anything to it, except these were really rusted out, so I just took a bit of sandpaper and sanded off the rust, so it's a bit better. This one, as you guys know, didn't work, and it had a lot of broken solder joints and poor connections, and I actually got it working, so that was great. I never made a video about this one because it was really quite silly. There was just a large piece of hair stuck in its motor, and that's why it wasn't running. So it would have been like a 30-second video. I literally just opened this thing up and then discovered there was a piece of hair holding it back. This was just a lifelike body, but the lock came with a shell, and I carved out the sides here a bit so it would fit. So I have this kind of strange Star Wars themed locomotive, I guess. This one also worked, but I've got it working a bit better. You guys probably wouldn't remember this one because now it has a shell. It did not have a shell, or it did have a shell, but I removed it because it was not the correct shell. I bought this shell, and I think it looks a lot better. The old shell has not gone to waste, though. As you can see, I've painted it up, and I'm kind of trying to make the theme, the locomotive from the movie Runaway Train. I think I overdid it on the white spray paint a bit. It looks better in real life, I'll tell you that. So just as before, trolley works fine. Really not much is different there. You'll see a huge difference in this one. You see it goes much, much faster than it did when I got it. It needed a lot of lubrication. Also, one of the bearings that holds the axle in place was at a funny angle. It had somehow popped out, so I popped it back in so it actually rides evenly now. So as you can see, this one is very, very good now. Now, as you guys remember, I did get this one working. It's a little bit rough because I think the lubrication has leaked out of it, but as you can see, it still works fine. Got to start sinking out because it's very wobbly, but it's a work in progress, like most of my projects. Now here's this one. This is the one that I said had that hair caught in it. And as you can see, it runs pretty well. Unfortunately, it's making that clicking noise though, which means that one of the gears is broken. Although I recently saw a video of how you can fix a cracked gear using baking soda and crazy glue, so I might try that on this one, and we'll see. Maybe that's the solution for these old Bachmans with the nylon gears. So here's the slightly unusual locomotive now. The reason this one didn't work well was because the wheels were very, very corroded. So I did the worst thing you can do, and I just took steel wool and sanded them down. They've stayed pretty polished. This loco does work, although it derails for some reason, and I haven't been able to figure out why. Here, I'll show you. As you can see, it seems okay, but if I run it, Guarantee we'll do it eventually. There we go. It gets caught in the switches. None of my other locomotives seem to have that issue, but this one does for some reason. So this is the Revell locomotive. I really had no clue how old these things were. It turns out I think they were made between the early 50s and early 60s, so this one could be more than 50 years old. As you can see, I've got it running much better than before. Headlight works. I still need to do a bit of work on it, more lubrication, but it's much, much better than it was before. Here's the Baltimore and Ohio. It's Atherm, so of course it runs really well. And now it's on to the Merrickville locomotives. These are the ones that I got back in February, or maybe it was January, I can't remember to be honest. This one was labeled as not working, then I got it working, then it broke, then I got it working again, then it broke again. So this one is the constant battle of working and not working, but I bet one day we will get it permanently working. This one was labeled as not working. I never did a video on it, but I did get it working. Pretty well. It just needed to be cleaned a lot. Some of the gears were so dirty. They weren't even the shape of gears. They were just like these blobs. I'm not exaggerating this, like they were terrible. I needed to let them soak in rubbing alcohol for 30 minutes and then gently scrape at them with a toothbrush. It was crazy. So this one did turn out to be working. So I'll show it running. Now, I did get this one working, but it has some sort of problem. It can't seem to handle corners. I have no idea why it can't, but it derails in every corner, so I've got to solve that. But it is obviously working from an engine that was not working whatsoever, so it's a step in the right direction. And here, of course, is the CP locomotive I bought on that same trip. It was labeled as working. It did work. However, I took it apart and I found tons of bits of hair and stuff like that in it, so I removed all that and re-lubricated it and it ran even better. I have made a small change. I added some headlights. I just took a glue gun and put some in before. They don't look very realistic, but to me it's better than not having anything there whatsoever. And just watch how well this runs. It's got a nice low speed. Wait, no, that's not a low speed. There we go, that's a good low speed. And it's got a plenty high speed. So that one's pretty much the same, just better than it was before. Now it's on to this lot. This one was kind of a mixed bag. First of all, as you guys know, I did kind of get this one working with this other one. This is the one I got in Merrickville, so it's kind of separate from the lot. And it's not working as well as I would like it to, so I'm not going to run this one today, but hopefully someday we'll get this one working as well as it can, and I can make a video about it. This one, as you know, this one had the wheels popping out of it. I actually stole all the parts out of it for another engine, but I'm slowly turning this one into a dummy engine, so this one's not a lost case. This one was by Hobbytown, and kind of like this locomotive here, it had grease which was jammed, so I just cleaned it with rubbing alcohol and re-lubricated it, and this one turned out to be an excellent runner. Oh, and also the other problem it had is Hobbytown uses these weird rubber things. They were slipping. I just put a little bit of crazy glue in the areas where it was slipping and solved the problem, so this one runs pretty well now. Oh, and also like the CP locomotive, somebody just put a diamond where the headlight is, and I didn't like that very much, so I drilled it out and did the hot glue technique, although on this one it didn't turn out as good. It's got a great low speed, and it accelerates nicely. It's really smooth. It's got 5-pole armature. This is a very interesting loco, and it actually turned out to be a great runner. This one I tried to repair, and I unfortunately made it worse somehow. I don't know why, but after I worked on it, the gears completely seized up, so I have no idea what I did, but try to fix it at some point. This one, as you know, did run, and it still does run pretty well, although somebody over-lubricated this one to a whole new extent. They really, they put the name of over-lubrication in this one. It was ridiculous how much grease the gears were swimming in. So these two, as you know, they're very, very similar. This one I brought to a hobby shop. He said it's never going to work again, and I got it working, so I'll show that one running. This one I was going to make a video about repairing, but I discovered it actually works fine. It just doesn't have any traction tires, so unfortunately I can't run that one. But it does work technically. As you can see, it's working fine. The only weird thing about it is it will not go backwards, and I have not been able to figure out why, so... It's also very loud. This one is very similar to this one internally, and I was not able to get it working, so I really don't know. This one might become a dummy engine, because I think that'd probably be the easiest solution to fixing it, is just to turn it into a dummy engine. And now it's on to the lot that I got rather recently for my birthday. This one does work, but it doesn't have any traction tires. They were dry rotted, and I still have not gotten any. This one's the same. This is that one that's kind of weird, but I did manage to get it working through all sorts of silly tactics. So we'll show that one running. Works. This one is very interesting. It's an old Marx. I had no clue what it was, but I asked you guys and you told me it's a Marx, which is really cool because I don't actually own any other Marx equipment, so this is kind of one of a kind for me. I'm not going to run this one for very long because it needs to be lubricated really bad because it's making all squealing noises, but this one actually works pretty well. This one works. It's a bit nostalgic for me. I didn't obviously have one up until recently, but I'm sure you guys probably know in one of the Railworks simulator games, there's a mission where you have to move some cars around with this thing, so it kind of just brings me back to that when I was like 12. It looks like it lost power out there, but it does work. And here's that one that I spent such a long time working on. It had many bent rods. It had obviously been involved in some sort of terrible accident, but it does somewhat work. So that's it for today's video. I want to thank all you guys so much for your support. And also, if you have any ideas for new videos, please put them down below because you guys have been giving me ideas for videos and I've had a lot of fun making them. So thanks for that as well.